12 chicken chains decided your loyalty was a weakness they could exploit. They raised prices past the breaking point. They shrank portions below the dignity threshold. They sourced cheaper chicken and kept the premium price tag. And they bet you would keep showing up anyway. Some of them are already paying for that bet in empty dining rooms and bankruptcy filings. 3 of them are paying for it right now in ways that should make every executive on this list uncomfortable. Keep a tight grip on your wallet. Let's go. Number 12. Lane's Chicken Fingers. Lane's started as a single Texas restaurant built entirely around one thing: chicken tenders, toast, and a house sauce nobody could quite copy. It stayed under the radar for 3 decades before franchising finally opened up in 2021. Then growth hit, and pricing followed right behind it. As Lane's expanded into new states through 2025 and into 2026, new locations came in noticeably higher than the original College Station menu, riding the same tender and toast wave that made Raising Cane's a household name, but charging premium chain prices for a menu that used to feel like a local secret. The formula is simple and it works, at least for now. Build a cult following in one college town for 3 decades. Franchise once demand is undeniable. Then price the expansion locations for what the brand has become rather than what it started as. Longtime fans in College Station remember paying local diner prices for the exact same tenders, now selling for national chain money 2 states away. A chain that spent 30 years being the cheap local favorite is now pricing itself like it wants to be the next big thing, and it is betting customers won't notice the difference. Up next, a hot chicken chain expanding into 10 countries while quietly training customers to expect fast casual prices for fast food portions. Number 11. Hangry Joe's Hot Chicken and Wings. Hangry Joe's is one of the fastest growing chicken concepts in the country right now, chasing the same hot chicken wave that turned Dave's Hot Chicken into a national name almost overnight. Rapid expansion sounds great until you realize how it gets funded. New chicken concepts riding a viral trend rarely compete on price because they don't have to. The line out the door does the selling for them, and prices creep up right alongside the hype. Franchise reports tracking the chicken sector have singled out Hangry Joe's alongside Dave's Hot Chicken as the 2 upstarts most likely to keep closing the gap on Raising Cane's over the next few years. Investors love that story. Customers footing the bill for a still unproven brand, charging established brand prices, are the ones absorbing the risk on the way there. A brand this new shouldn't already feel expensive, but hot chicken concepts have learned that customers will pay a premium for a trend, right up until the trend cools off and the price tag is the only thing left standing. If you're enjoying this breakdown, press the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Coming up, the tender chain that is expanding into 3 continents while its home menu keeps climbing. Number 10. Dave's Hot Chicken. Dave's Hot Chicken started as a literal pop-up in an East Hollywood parking lot in 2017. It has since become the fastest-growing chicken franchise in the country with a 9-figure investment range for anyone hoping to open one. What made the brand stand out was not just the chicken itself. Dave's built its identity around Nashville-style hot chicken, aggressive heat levels, oversized portions, and a menu simple enough for customers to understand almost instantly. That combination helped turn what started as a local Los Angeles operation into a national fast casual brand. The growth has been especially impressive because Dave's did not try to compete by being the cheapest option. Instead, it positioned itself as something customers were willing to pay more for. The bright branding, social media-friendly food, celebrity attention, and extremely spicy menu all helped create the sense that Dave's was an experience rather than just another chicken restaurant. Here's the number that matters. A Dave's slider runs $7 to $10. A full combo starts around $11. Compare that to Popeyes, where a full chicken sandwich combo starts closer to $6, and the gap is not subtle. That difference becomes even more noticeable when customers start adding sides, drinks, or multiple pieces of chicken. A meal for 2 can quickly move into territory where customers are no longer comparing Dave's with traditional fast food. They're comparing it with other fast casual restaurants, where higher prices are already expected. And that's the gamble behind the entire business model. Dave's has to convince customers that the taste, portion size, branding, and overall experience justify paying a noticeable premium over established chains with thousands of locations. Dave's has leaned hard into premium positioning, and in 2026 the chain announced plans to open 180 new locations across 10 countries through a partnership with the UK's Azuri Group. You can call that quality control. You can also call it charging fast casual prices for a fast food format, and betting the hype train never slows down long enough for anyone to do the math. Just ahead, the chicken tender chain that proved premium pricing works, and every competitor on this list has been chasing that formula ever since. Number 9. Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is the chain every other name on this list is quietly trying to copy. Founder Todd Graves famously got a B- on the business school paper that pitched this exact concept. The joke is on whoever graded it. Cane's sales grew 32% year over year in 2024 alone, crossing $5 billion and outpacing growth at KFC, a chain that has been in business for nearly a century longer. Industry analysts studying the chicken franchise boom point to Cane's as the proof of concept. A menu built around one product, chicken tenders, that demonstrated real premium pricing power in a category that used to compete almost entirely on being cheap. That single insight rewired how every chicken concept on this list thinks about its own menu board. Cane's isn't struggling. Cane's is the reason every other chain on this list thinks it can charge more and get away with it. Next, a chain that raised prices during a genuine turnaround and somehow made it work anyway. Number 8. El Pollo Loco. El Pollo. Loco spent years as the quiet regional chain nobody outside the West Coast thought much about. Then 2026 happened, and the company posted an effective price increase of roughly 3.4% in a single quarter, on top of prior hikes, while simultaneously raising its full-year guidance twice. Average check size climbed more than 4% in the second quarter of 2026 alone. Transactions dipped slightly at the same time, a small but telling sign that some customers are ordering less to offset paying more. CEO Liz Williams credited menu innovation and operational execution for the growth, pointing specifically to new items like the Baja Double Tostadas as a driver of stronger guest response. A chain can raise prices and still grow, but only if the product improves fast enough to make customers forget they're paying more for it. El Pollo Loco is threading that needle for now, backed by 20 new locations planned across emerging markets. Not every chain on this list is going to be so lucky. Coming up, a southern chicken chain, pushing customers toward boneless tenders through an app, because the boneless version is easier to mark up. Number 7. Bojangles. Bojangles built its entire reputation on scratch-made biscuits and bone-in Cajun fried chicken, the kind of southern comfort food that felt immune to fast food price creep for decades. In 2026, the chain rolled out a national growth menu built around boneless chicken, easier to portion, easier to standardize, and easier to price without customers noticing the shrinkage. At the same time, Bojangles has pushed its best deals almost entirely into its mobile app, meaning anyone still ordering at the counter is paying the sticker price with none of the discounts. The company itself has openly referred to fighting menu inflation through app-only offers, a phrase that only exists because the regular menu prices climbed enough to need fighting in the first place. New markets like Texas and Ohio are getting the boneless-first version of the menu from day one, meaning an entire generation of new Bojangles customers may never even see the bone-in classics the brand built its reputation on. A chain that used to hand you a value meal at the register is now making you download an app just to avoid the markup it already built into the menu board. Up next, the chain whose franchisees are openly warning customers about smaller portions at a higher price. Number 6. Church's Texas Chicken. Church's built its reputation as the value option in the fried chicken world, the place you went specifically because it undercut Popeyes and KFC on price. A recent comparison of three-piece combos across 7 major chains found Church's still holding the title for best value in 2026. But customers on the ground aren't feeling that reputation the way they used to. One long-time regular described watching a 3-piece combo with a biscuit that used to run $3.49 jump to over $7 after tax and said flatly they were done coming back. Church's is still technically the cheapest name on paper. The problem is that technically cheapest and actually feels affordable have stopped being the same thing, and regulars are the ones noticing the gap first. A brand built entirely on undercutting the competition has almost no room left to raise prices further without losing the one identity it has left. Just ahead, the chicken tender chain getting called out for shrinking the one thing it's actually famous for. Number 5. Zaxby's. Zaxby's built its entire brand identity around one thing: big, hand-breaded chicken tenders with bold sauces. It's the signature item, the reason people choose Zaxby's over the tender chain down the street. Here's the problem. Menu comparisons across major fried chicken chains in 2026 consistently flag Zaxby's as having noticeably smaller tenders than the competition, even as its combo pricing sits right alongside Chick-fil-A, Church's, and Bojangles in the $9 to $10 range. You can charge premium chain prices for a mid-tier portion for a while. Eventually, customers do the math themselves, and Zaxby's signature item is exactly what they're using to do it. Real quick though, if you've made it this far and you're already mentally rewriting your own family's chicken order, hit that like button and subscribe now, because the next names on the list aren't just overpriced. Coming up, the most beloved chicken chain in the country, and the 8-word phrase its own customers keep using to describe its prices. Number 4. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has held the top spot in the American Customer Satisfaction Index for 11 consecutive years running. Loyalty like that is rare, and Chick-fil-A has been testing exactly how far it can stretch that loyalty before it snaps. The average price across the Chick-fil-A menu has climbed from $4.65 in 2022 to over $7 today, an increase of more than 50% in under 4 years. A basic chicken sandwich with no meal now runs close to $7 in several states. Customers on the brand's own subreddit have started using one specific word to describe the pattern: greed. The company also quietly settled a $4.4 million class action lawsuit after it was accused of secretly marking up food prices by up to 30% on delivery orders without telling anyone. Compare that trajectory to the rest of the industry, and the pattern is even clearer. Chick-fil-A's menu prices have climbed roughly 55% over the past decade, keeping pace with Burger King and Wendy's, but the chain's satisfaction scores never dropped the way theirs did, which is exactly why Chick-fil-A has felt comfortable pushing the price ceiling higher than almost anyone else in the category. The 11-year streak proves customers will forgive almost anything for waffle fries. It does not prove they'll forgive it forever. Next, the chain that just posted its 7th straight losing quarter, and the comeback campaign built entirely around admitting it. Number 3. KFC. KFC has spent years trying to remind America it still exists, and in 2026 the company launched an entire campaign called the Kentucky Fried Comeback to do exactly that, after 7 consecutive quarters of negative results. The pricing tells you why customers stopped showing up. A 2-piece chicken and fries combo that cost $6 in 2024 now runs $8.89, a jump of nearly 50% in 2 years. A 12-piece family meal now gets marketed as a deal at $45. One customer summed up the mood online in 8 words: the prices have been out of control. Another described skipping the kernel entirely in favor of grocery store fried chicken instead. A genuinely brutal comparison for a brand built on being faster and easier than cooking at home. To its credit, KFC has started responding with a value feast lineup, full box meals starting around $7, an obvious attempt to win back the price conscious customers it spent 2 years pushing away. Whether that arrives in time to stop the 7-quarter slide from becoming an 8th is the entire question the comeback campaign is riding on. You cannot launch a comeback campaign while the thing customers are actually angry about, the price tag, keeps climbing right along with it. Coming up, the wing chain quietly closing restaurants across a dozen states while insisting nothing is wrong, and the chicken sandwich pioneer that just lost the war it started. Both of them are about to get the deep dive they deserve. They're actively falling apart, and the reasons why are wilder than anything we've covered so far. Number 2. Wingstop. Wingstop spent years as the industry's favorite growth story, the chain that made premium pricing look effortless. Fresh, never frozen wings, bold flavors, and customers who didn't blink at the markup. 2026 broke that streak. Same-store sales fell 8.7% in the first quarter and were projected to fall again in the second. Wingstop's stock price has dropped 68% from its all-time high, with multiple Wall Street firms cutting price targets and downgrading the stock over concerns that its core customers, who skew younger and lower income, simply can't absorb the pricing anymore. The backlash online has been loud and specific. One customer described watching a usual order climb from $21 to $31 after tax in a single visit. Others have flooded social media comparing current menu boards to prices from just a year or two earlier, watching 70-cent boneless wings creep toward $1 a piece. Wingstop's own response has been to shift marketing toward value messaging rather than actual discounting, testing whether customers respond better to being reminded of the deal than to the deal actually getting cheaper. Early results were mixed at best. A brand that built its entire growth story on customers happily paying more eventually runs into a wall the moment those same customers stop being able to. Wingstop hit that wall in 2026, and Wall Street noticed before the marketing team did. Just ahead, the chain that invented the modern chicken sandwich wars and is now losing to the chains it inspired. Number 1. Popeyes. Popeyes single-handedly started the modern chicken sandwich wars in 2019. The launch was a genuine cultural moment, with lines wrapped around buildings and a sandwich so hyped it briefly became a national news story. 7 years later, Popeyes is losing the war it started. Parent company Restaurant Brands International reported that Popeyes' U.S. sales fell nearly 5% in a recent quarter, marking 4 consecutive quarters of decline, while every other RBI-owned brand saw sales tick upward during the same stretch. Raising Cane's has since passed KFC to become the third most popular chicken chain in the country, trailing only Chick-fil-A and Popeyes itself, with Dave's Hot Chicken and Hangry Joe's closing the gap fast. Popeyes' leadership has been candid about the cause. A company executive told reporters that at its core, the chicken business is a service business, and that winning requires consistent speed, accuracy, and reliability in every single restaurant, every single day. Popeyes hasn't been delivering that consistency, and pricing pressure on top of inconsistent service gave loyal customers every reason to try the newer, flashier name down the street instead. The chain that taught America to wait in line for fried chicken is now the one getting skipped for something newer. 12 chains raised prices, shrank portions, or leaned on premium positioning while betting customers wouldn't notice. Some are getting away with it. 3 are not, and the fallout has been dramatic enough to make headlines all on its own. Let's look at exactly how bad it's gotten. These are the 3 chains in real trouble. Number 3. Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings has been a fixture of American game day culture since 1982, the largest sports bar chain in the country by system size, the default answer to "where should we watch the game?" That default status is cracking. A wave of closures swept the chain throughout early 2026. Hicksville, New York in January, Crystal City, Virginia in February after 15 years, Morris, Illinois in March after a decade, McHenry, Illinois in April, and a 20-year location in downtown Ann Arbor, Michigan, closing its doors on May 3rd. A location manager overseeing one of those closures put the reasoning plainly, telling a local outlet that people simply don't have as much money to eat out anymore, calling it the nature of the beast. Company messaging has tried to frame the closures as a strategic shift towards smaller, takeout-friendly formats rather than a retreat, pointing to plans for over 90 new Value Go locations in 2026. Maybe that's true, but you don't lose a 20-year anchor location in a major college town because your strategy is working. Buffalo Wild Wings spent years building its identity around big portions and big screens in prime real estate. Now it's quietly shedding that same real estate one lease at a time, while the wings themselves keep getting more expensive. Number 2. Wingstop. We already covered the headline numbers. Same-store sales down nearly 9%, stock price down 68% from its peak, and a core customer base that Wall Street analysts flagged as too financially strained to keep absorbing price hikes. Here's what makes it worse. Wingstop is still opening new restaurants at nearly the same pace it always has, adding almost 100 US locations in 2026, even as existing stores post falling sales. The average Wingstop still does close to $2 million in annual revenue, and the upfront cost to open one remains a relatively low $580,000, which means franchisees keep signing up even as same-store performance craters. That's the trap. Corporate growth numbers can look healthy on a slide deck, while the actual restaurants underneath are quietly losing customers, one price-conscious teenager at a time. Wingstop spent years training customers to accept a premium for fresh, never-frozen wings. In 2026, enough of those customers finally said no, and the stock market is the one keeping score now, not the marketing department. Number 1. Popeyes. Popeyes' problems go deeper than a bad quarter. Sailorman Inc., one of the chain's largest franchisees, operating more than 130 restaurants across Florida and Georgia, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in January of 2026 after defaulting on roughly $130 million in credit facilities. The fallout was immediate. Sailorman closed 17 locations within its first week in bankruptcy court, then kept closing more through the spring, eventually shutting down 39 restaurants permanently after failing to find buyers for them, even after selling off 97 other locations for just over $16 million combined. A separate Popeyes franchisee in upstate New York, Liberty Restaurants Holdings, closed multiple locations in the same stretch without ever filing for bankruptcy at all, simply because the math stopped working. To be clear, Popeyes the brand itself is not bankrupt. Restaurant Brands International, the parent company that also owns Burger King, is a massive profitable corporation. But when your largest franchisees are collapsing under debt while your own corporate sales fall for 4 straight quarters and hungry new competitors, eat your market share one city at a time. The distinction between the brand and the actual restaurants. People eat at stops mattering very much to the customer standing in an empty parking lot where their Popeyes used to be. Landlords chasing unpaid rent, laid-off crew members, and franchisees stuck holding leases. Nobody don't care about the difference between corporate math and franchisee math either. The chain that started the chicken sandwich wars is now the clearest proof that starting the fight doesn't guarantee winning it. Fried chicken had every advantage walking into 2026. Traffic outpacing every other fast food category. A generation of customers are actively looking for something cheaper than beef. Momentum that most restaurant categories would kill for. 12 chains took that momentum and used it to quietly raise prices, shrink portions, or lean on premium positioning, betting that brand loyalty and category hype would cover for it. Some of them, like Raising Cane's and El Pollo Loco, are pulling it off for now by pairing higher prices with genuinely better execution. Others are not. Buffalo Wild Wings is closing decades-old locations one lease at a time. Wingstop has lost over 2/3 of its stock value while its core customers walk away. And Popeyes, the chain that started the entire modern chicken sandwich era, is watching its own franchisees collapse into bankruptcy while newer, hungrier competitors eat directly into the market it created. None of these three ended up here by accident. Every single one of them made a specific choice about price, portion size, or consistency, and the customers who used to defend these brands online are the same ones now posting screenshots of receipts and captioning them with one word: greed. The chains higher up on this list, the Cane's, the El Pollo Locos, the Chick-fil-A's, are proof that customers will still pay more without walking away, as long as the food, the service, and the experience keep pace with the price tag. The 3 chains at the bottom of this list are proof of exactly what happens the moment that balance tips too far in the other direction. And there's no marketing campaign, comeback slogan, or app-only discount clever enough to fix it after the fact. So check your last receipt from one of these 15 names. Ask yourself honestly whether you're still getting what you used to get, or whether you've just gotten used to paying more for less. Compare it to a receipt from a year ago, if you've still got it saved, and do the actual math instead of trusting your gut, because the gut adjusts to creeping prices a lot faster than the wallet does. The uncomfortable truth is that most of us won't switch chains over this. We'll grumble about the total on the screen, pay it anyway, and come back next week, because convenience beats principle almost every single time. That's exactly the bet every chain on this list is making, and for 12 of them, it's still paying off. For 3 of them, the bet finally came due in a bankruptcy court in Miami, on a stock ticker on Wall Street, and in a string of dark, empty storefronts from Michigan to Kansas. Thanks for watching. Click on the next video if you want to see which fast food chains are quietly shrinking your favorite menu items without touching the price tag at all. The list might make you angrier than this one did.